Hello friends, let's start. And as you know, today's topic is listening and listening part A. Occupational English Test 2.0, listening part A. We'll be looking into the tips and strategies, and our mission is to make learning easy and to make you fall in love with OET. And I tell you, it's a really thrilling experience. Let's see how we can crack it easily and enjoy doing it. Without doing hard work, we always stand for smart work and patience. Have patience and do smart work. Channel, if you're watching on YouTube, consider subscribing the YouTube channel and give us a thumbs up if you like the work, and please do share so that we reach out to many more people. So hope you are ready for the journey. Let's jump into the session.
Yes, Father.
So
Yes,
we'll go.
yes, Father.
Yeah, I may take some 30 minutes. That's it. So OET 2.0 listening part. So listening part A, key skills. As I always used to tell you, always aim for target for A grade 450 to 500, minimum 450, so that you are safe in your practice. And that's the biggest enemy for your failure, or most of them fail because they target for B grade and they happen to reach 340, 330 or 320. So always target for 450, so you are safe above 400. It's a patient-led dialogue, which means the answers, most of the answers will be from the conversation, from the part of the patient. So patient will be giving the answers. So you'll have, for the answers, you'll have to listen to the audio from the conversation from the patient. And definitely you have the side headings or the clues from the questions being asked by the other person, doctor or whoever the professional. So 30 seconds to read the 12 questions before the audio begins with a beep sound. Golden seconds to predict, anticipate, foreseeing. And as you know, definitely first method, which is applicable both for reading as well as listening. And write the exact word or phrase as given in the audio. Don't change the word or form of the word. Write the exact word. Beware of paraphrasing in the question statement. Usually they may not give you the same thing as it is, so you'll have to beware of the paraphrasing. And beware of synonyms and synonymous language. These are the major things in your listening part A. And if you are competent with paraphrasing, definitely we will be competent in synonym and synonymous language, because paraphrasing includes synonym and synonymous language. And today we'll be mostly focusing on predicting as well as paraphrasing, because other things I have dealt with earlier. Typos means spelling mistakes, minor mistakes are okay, but it should not be distorting the meaning or changing the meaning or pronunciation. There should not be a big distortion in the meaning or the pronunciation. So minor spelling mistakes are not penalized. And 3 possible answers, you have to choose the best answer, not the right answer, the best among the 3. There may be 1 or 2 will be exactly the same right answers, but you have to choose the best answer. And color in the circle to mark your answer that's known to you. Listening strategies, prediction or anticipation. And second one, beware of paraphrasing, and beware of synonyms, and beware of synonymous language, beware of collective words. Normally, if you know how to predict and if you know paraphrasing, most of the things will be sorted out. And listening for, what should you listen for? As normal, you have to listen for scale expressions or synonyms, synonymous language, paraphrasing, collective words, comparison, contrast, adjective, chronological or expressions or time expressions, negative meanings, emotions or feelings, names of condition, device, place, disease, something of that sort. So these are the things you have to listen for. And listening strategies, look at the contact extract 1, questions 1 to 12. You hear an optometrist talking to a new patient called Aiden Fitzpatrick. Okay, for questions 1 to 12, complete the notes with a word or short phrase. You now have 30 seconds to look at the notes. As I said, those are the 30 seconds which are golden seconds to predict or anticipate or foresee or use the first 2 steps of first method. How to use the 30 golden seconds? First of all, ask yourself who is speaking. Here, in this listening, it is optometrist. And who is he speaking with? There is a mistake, word, doubling the word. Sorry for that. And he is speaking to the patient named Aiden Fitzpatrick. And topic, what is the topic? He is speaking about the vision or blurred vision. The issue is, or the kind of problem is vision. So subheadings, what are the subheadings? Which gives you the sequence: symptoms, background details, medical history, next steps. These are the 4 subheadings which you will see. That we are going to deal with all these things. That's why I'm going a little faster. These are the basics which you already know. Match the following. Now, could you just unmute and tell me? Now, one side I have given the specialist name, other side I have given the condition. Can you match? Obstetrician, who will be?
Yes, first
Pregnancy.
pregnancy.
Cardiologist, heart attack.
Cardiologist, heart attack,
Optometrist,
infectious
vision.
disease,
Cardiologist, heart attack,
COVID-19.
COVID,
GP,
GP.
COVID-19.
is COVID.
Okay, can one repeat that so that it's clear to the audience?
Obstetrician, pregnancy, cardiologist, heart attack, optometrist, vision, GP, COVID-19.
Now, who is concerned here in this listening?
Optometrist.
Optometrist.
So these are the matched correct ones. So we are concerned about optometrist, vision. So could you just tell me now the problem issue here is one has Aiden has blurred vision. There is some problem with your sight. So could you tell me if somebody comes to the hospital with problem with his sight, what will be the symptoms? If you have some problem with your, or if you are wearing a specs like me, and if you have forgotten to take the specs, what will be the symptoms that you show or the signs that you exhibit?
Blurred vision.
Okay, vision will be blurred, which means I'm not able to read, right? Blurred vision, yes. What else?
Trying to struggle to read.
Yeah, struggle to read. How do they struggle normally? What are the
They will keep close to this book or something. They will keep close.
They will keep closer. They will bring it closer. Okay. Then?
Sometime headache.
Yeah.
Need more light.
Need more light. They will put on all the lights possible. So to see that there is a better light so that they can see better. Then?
Headache also associated with
yeah. Normally when you have no sight, you will be looking very staring at the text and reading, and gradually you will have a headache. When you have a headache, what will you do?
Painkiller.
Yeah, you will use painkiller. Could you give me the name of one painkiller normally used by you all?
Ibuprofen.
Paracetamol, ibuprofen, something. Okay. This is called prediction.
Aspirin.
This is called prediction. Okay. So this text will have 4 side headings. First part speaks about symptoms, where you said all these, and definitely you will see these predictions. How many of them are correct? As you go into the audio, you will listen to. Then after that, background details of the Aiden, the patient. Then medical history of the patient. Medical history, his previous medication or other things. Next step means management or monitoring. That's a normal sequence I told you in all the. So this is the way the audio is given. Symptoms are given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe more are there, but I have not given because of the space. And then you have background details. Then you have medical history and the next step. Okay, these are the headings. Now, could you just identify the disease? Maybe, okay. Looking at the symptoms, first column, symptoms of what?
Vision problem.
Vision problems. Second one.
Problem.
Heart problem. Yes. Third one.
Pregnancy.
Exactly. Pregnancy. Fourth one.
COVID-19.
COVID-19. Exactly. You see the symptoms, the symptoms. Being medical professionals, these are by heart for you. You really know them. Okay, I have not given the title, but I'll show you the title now. Symptoms of what? See. Now, these are the symptoms. Yes. Vision problem, heart attack, pregnancy, and COVID. Now you know who are the specialists as well. So at the very introduction, you will be they will be introducing who is speaking or who is here, to whom is he speaking, and normally they will say what is the condition or the problem they are facing, or in the next step they will explain the problem. Both is fine. Okay, so this is called prediction, where as soon as there is something symptoms, then they say there should be a symptom. Now could you just play it audio? Yes. Yeah. You have to stop. You have to stop when I say okay. Yeah, just we'll listen to part A just once.
You hear an optometrist talking to a patient called Aiden Fitzpatrick, who has been experiencing blurred vision.
Hi, Aidan. I'm Dr. Solkeld. Could you start by telling me about what's been going on with your vision?
Sure. Well, I guess it must have started a while ago, but I didn't really notice it properly until about 2 weeks ago.
Right.
I was working in my garden and I noticed that I was having a hard time reading the instructions on the gardening products that I just bought. I normally stick to the one I've been using for years, but I thought it'd be nice to try something different. Anyways, it kind of felt like everything was fuzzy around the edges and I just couldn't see the letters clearly.
Good.
After talking to my daughter, she mentioned that I've been using increasingly more light to read at night and even pulling things closer to me to read.
Good.
I hadn't even noticed. So I went out and got some of those glasses they sell at the pharmacy and they helped, but my doctor said that it'd be better if I came to see an eye doctor. Well, they made things less blurred anyway, I guess. My vision's still not crystal clear or anything when I use the glasses, but I wasn't really expecting that. I still notice that I'm squinting to see things.
Right.
It's mostly when I'm trying to read something close up, like small writing. I'm better when things are at a distance. I don't know if it's related, but I've also noticed a pretty persistent headache. I guess it's kind of at the sides of my head, I suppose. It comes and goes, but it's definitely worse when I'm having trouble seeing something. When it gets really bad, I just take a fast-acting ibuprofen, and that tends to sort it out.
Ever had any vision problems before?
When I was little, at some point in elementary school, I think I had glasses, but I'm sure I broke them, and we just never got round to having them replaced. My brother has glasses that he's been wearing for years. I don't really know a whole lot about what's wrong with his eyes. Maybe he's short-sighted. Oh, but that reminds me. My brother thought I should mention that a couple of months or so ago I was pretty ill. I was suffering from sinusitis. And anyway, I left it pretty late to go and see the doctor about it. Kind of thought that it would just sort itself out. Anyway, it lingered for a while, so when I told my doctor, he gave me some antibiotics and it cleared up pretty quickly after that. Well, for the most part, although I still feel like I have a cold. Other than that, I've been in really good health for the last few years. I take my health really seriously. I'm not sure if the doctor told you, but I used to be quite overweight. But I lost it all after a bit of a wake-up call some years back. I had what you guys call a myocardial infraction. It was pretty scary, and I was quite overweight at the time and really stressed out about my job. Since then, I've made a real effort to look after myself properly.
I'm glad to hear it. So, in terms of your blurred vision, what do you think might work for you?
Well, I don't particularly like the idea of wearing glasses all the time, but touching my eyes freaks me out, so contact lenses are definitely not an option. I guess the best thing might be to just have glasses that I wear all the time, so I don't keep forgetting to put them on when I'm out somewhere, not at home. I've actually never had an eye test, so I should probably schedule one of those as a next step.
I think that sounds reasonable. Let's do some tests to check out your eyes and go from there.
You hear a senior obstetrician talking to a patient called Hilary Johnson, who has been referred by her midwife.
Hilary Johnson? Hi. Do come in and take a seat. I'm Dr. Smith, and I'm a senior obstetrician here. So, Hilary, you've been referred to us by your midwife. I have her notes with me here, but could you tell me in your own words why you've been referred?
Oh, yeah, no problem. I think I've been referred to you because the midwife said she found some glucose in my urine sample and was worried about diabetes. If I understand correctly, I could have diabetes during my pregnancy, but if I do, it's not likely to continue after giving birth. I've noticed that I'm craving sweets and cakes all the time at the moment, and I've just been letting myself eat whatever. So I've put on a bit of weight, and I don't think it's all just baby weight either. I've never had a problem with diabetes before, and I'm hoping it'll turn out to be something else. My aunt actually has type 2 diabetes, but she's always eaten a lot of sugar, so I think that might be a factor. She just controls hers with diet now and doesn't have to take any medication.
Oh, okay. Thanks for letting me know. I see from your notes that you're 24 weeks pregnant now. How has your pregnancy been up to now?
Oh, I have been so lucky. I got the usual sickness early on. Well, stomach pain, but not actually being sick. I think that's pretty common, and it's settled after the first trimester. I've been taking some medication because I also had pretty horrible heartburn.
Right.
And it seems to take care of the problem. And also, I've started to get a bit of back pain in the last week or so. I'd say it's like a throbbing feeling, but other than that, I've been pretty fortunate. I suppose I've been gradually getting more and more tired since the start of my pregnancy. I've just put it down to the extra energy my baby needs, but it could also be because I haven't been sleeping very well. Also, sometimes the nausea stops me from making something healthy for dinner, which is annoying because I know I need to eat healthily. I take a prenatal, though, to make sure I'm getting the right nutrition.
Well, it seems like you're managing to deal with most of your symptoms well.
Yeah, this is my first pregnancy. And to be honest, I didn't have a clue what to expect. But so far, so good. It's only this glucose thing that's got me worried. I imagine it's just a one-off, but I guess it's best to get it seen to.
Certainly, and I'm pleased you're here so we can get things sorted. So we'll need to book another appointment to carry out some tests.
Okay, so when will I have to have this? Because I'm a bit busy at work at the minute.
Well, ideally as soon as possible. Can I ask what you do for a living?
I'm a high school teacher, and it's just getting to that time of year when the kids are gearing up for their examinations. So I can't afford to be taking too much time off during the day. I'm actually a little bit stressed at the moment as well. I've had to do a lot more work over the past few weeks. I think it's just that time of year. I've been a teacher for 4 years now, so I'm starting to develop ways of coping with the madness. With that in mind, if our next appointment could be at 5-ish or later, then that would be perfect.
No problem. Just make sure to let the receptionist know your preferences. When we find sugar in preliminary tests, we offer an oral glucose tolerance test, which is what we'll do when you come in next. Do you know what that involves?
Well, I asked a few of my friends about their pregnancies, and my friend Beth said that she had the same thing and told me about that test. She said that she had to come into the hospital and drink a sugary drink and then have a blood test to tell if she had diabetes. Is that right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Here's the leaflet that explains the test so that you can have a read about it when you get home. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, I don't think so. I'll go away and read this and wait and see what the test says. Well, thank you for your help today.
You're welcome. I'll see you once we have the results and we can take it from there.
So blurred vision, you should visualize these symptoms as they read. Now more light, something squinting when you have not taken your using your specs or you lost your specs, squinting eyes, and specs, headache, ibuprofen, the solution for headache. And sometimes you bring very closer when you can't see, right? You have the phone or the text. Can somebody just read these?
Yeah. Symptoms. First to notice difficulty reading 2 weeks ago. Describes his vision as dash. Has difficulty reading printed letters. Needs increasingly dash to read in evenings. Found he was having to hold objects closer to see. Purchased glasses from dash. Often finds that he is dash his eyes even when wearing glasses. When struggling to see, can also experience dash. Aiden treats pain with dash fast acting. Background details. Wore glasses as a child. Brother also wears glasses, possibly dash. Medical history. Recently suffered from dash. Treated with antibiotics. Still experiencing symptoms of dash. Lost excess weight following a dash. Describes as wake-up call. Next steps. Isn't willing to wear dash. Must be given dash. Never had one.
Okay. Is it possible that you can fill in here? What is the described his vision as? And definitely think whenever there is described and as, that will be compared to something. You describe something as something. Okay, one thing with another thing. Okay, needs increasingly dash to read in evenings. When you have
Light.
eyesight, yeah, increasingly you need more light. Yes. Then purchase glasses from. So there will be a place, right? You purchase glasses or specs from somewhere. So that gap should be filled with one place. For example, you purchase rice from grocery shop, right? You purchase medicine from medical shop or pharmacy. So also glasses from. So one place. That's what you scan your questions. I'll show you how to do it. And often finds that he is dash his eyes. Doing something with eyes, right? He is dash his eyes means some action of the eyes. Was there any word which was action of eyes? You remember? Okay. And when struggling to see, yeah, can also experience something. Experience what?
Headache.
Yeah, headache. And as soon as you have a condition, next step is treatment, right? When you have a headache, iron treats pain with dash. One tablet or some pill or something like that. Fast acting pill or tablet. So, you know, that's how you screen the 30 seconds, no? Wore glasses as a child, brother also wears glasses. Possibly there is a modal verb. There will be some modal verb in your audio instead of possibly. We'll check into it. And medical history, recently suffered from dash. Medical history means, you know, previously what was the issues that person had. Suffered from some disease, right? Suffering from some disease, some condition. You see, immediately you have treated. Here also, headache treated with some other tablet. Here, suffered from something and treated with antibiotics, still experiencing symptoms of another sickness, symptoms of another condition. See, that's how you read, you scan the questions. Lost excess weight following a dash, following some difficulty, some disease or some issue, right? You don't lose weight unnecessarily without any reason. So there is some reason for loss of weight. And next steps means what is the next management? Isn't willing to wear dash. Is not willing to wear either specs or contact lenses. There is a description on that. Must be given dash. He says he was never done. That's negative meaning. Okay, let's look into it. Okay, we will not take the second part now. Scan the question statements for STEM words. See, these are the STEM words which you have to scan. Vision, as I told you, describes his vision as, describes vision as. And this will be there even in the second segment also, even in the second extract, you will have almost same. So there is a comparison with something. Okay. And needs increasingly. There will be a synonym used or synonymous language used for these words. To read in evenings, increasingly, already you know. Purchase glasses from a place, a shop, some name, right? Here one noun should be there, increasingly dash to read, some noun. Here, purchase glasses from, as I said, grocery from, purchased fish from, purchased snacks from. So the gap should be some place, shop or some place. Okay, name. Often finds that he is dash with his eyes, means a verb, action of eyes. Something with done with the eyes. So verb will be, action word will be there. When struggling to see, can also experience dash. So also experience some, usually what you experience when you are sick, some pain possibly, right? Aiden treats pain with treatment always with some pill or medicine, something like that. So, you know, a medicine name will be there. That's what I said, what you have to listen for. You have to listen for name, you have to listen for feelings, emotions, or you have to listen for synonyms, paraphrasing, all those things. So you see, blurred vision, need for more light, specs, squinting, headache, ibuprofen. We did not take the name of the medicine, but then it's ibuprofen here. Only squinting we did not get when we predicted, right? So can you put in these words here?
First one, blade.
No, first one was something else. It's okay. Second one, go to second, just from prediction is. Increasingly, it is comparison. There is a comparison.
Need
What?
Need for
Need
more
more.
light.
Okay. Third one.
Pharmacy.
Yeah, pharmacy. We did not write that. Next one. He is dash. Squinting. Okay. Experience. Also experience.
Headache.
Headache. And treats with Treats with
Ibuprofen.
So vision as fuzzy. Did you hear that? Described his vision as, I was seeing everything as fuzzy. Fuzzy means it was not clear. Then second one is increasingly more light to read. Purchase glasses from pharmacy or the pharmacy. The bracket is given. If you write pharmacy, it is right. Even if you write the pharmacy, both are right. Okay, that's why the bracket is given. Sorry, sometimes there will be 3-4 brackets. Yeah, either you can use any of them or all of them, or you can write without those also. There you will not be penalized. And he is squinting with his eyes, and he is also experienced a persistent headache or a headache or persistent headache or whatever. All these things are right. And treats with ibuprofen. Okay. See, now the 7th one, wear glasses as a child. I am taking a little faster for you because these are familiar for me. Brother also, I'll be just describing you how to take it over, and I will analyze the text script. Brother also wears glasses possibly. The word says there in the text, it says maybe short-sighted. Okay, you have a model here. Maybe is a model used in the audio, and a scale, short, a scale being used. Recently suffered from, when you're suffering from a sickness, right? Condition. Sinusitis is a condition, a name given. Treated with antibiotics, still experience symptoms of another sickness or condition, name, that is cold. Lost excess weight following dash, myocardial infarction, or MI also is right. If you write MI, that will also be considered right. Describes as wake-up call. See, again, describes as comes here as a comparison. So next one is, he isn't willing to wear contact lenses, negative meaning, or the name given. Contact lenses is the name, negative meaning. In the audio, they have given negative meaning. Okay, never an option. They said never. Contact lenses will never be an option for me. Must be given an eye test. This you have done. That's why I'm going fast. So scan the text audio for strategy. Sorry, scan the script now. Script of the text of the audio. So let's check how it goes. Okay, now is it possible for you to play again?
Hi, Aidan. I'm Dr. Solkeld. Could you start by telling me about what's been going on with your vision?
Sure. Well, I guess it must have started a while ago, but I didn't really notice it properly until about 2 weeks ago.
Right.
I was working in my garden and I noticed that I was having a hard time reading the instructions on the gardening products that I just bought. I normally stick to the one I've been using for years, but I thought it'd be nice to try something different. Anyways, it kind of felt like everything was fuzzy around the edges and I just couldn't see the letters clearly.
Good.
After talking to my daughter, she mentioned that I've been using increasingly more light to read at night and even pulling things closer to me to read.
Good.
I hadn't even noticed. So I went out and got some of those glasses they sell at the pharmacy and they helped, but my doctor said that it'd be better if I came to see an eye doctor. Well, they made things less blurred anyway, I guess. My vision's still not crystal clear or anything when I use the glasses, but I wasn't really expecting that. I still notice that I'm squinting to see things.
Right.
It's mostly when I'm trying to read something close up, like small writing. I'm better when things are at a distance. I don't know if it's related, but I've also noticed a pretty persistent headache. I guess it's kind of at the sides of my head, I suppose. It comes and goes, but it's definitely worse when I'm having trouble seeing something. When it gets really bad, I just take a fast-acting ibuprofen, and that tends to sort it out.
Ever had any vision problems before?
When I was little, at some point in elementary school, I think I had glasses, but I'm sure I broke them, and we just never got round to having them replaced. My brother has glasses that he's been wearing for years. I don't really know a whole lot about what's wrong with his eyes. Maybe he's short-sighted. Oh, but that reminds me. My brother thought I should mention that a couple of months or so ago I was pretty ill. I was suffering from sinusitis. And anyway, I left it pretty late to go and see the doctor about it. Kind of thought that it would just sort itself out. Anyway, it lingered for a while, so when I told my doctor, he gave me some antibiotics and it cleared up pretty quickly after that. Well, for the most part, although I still feel like I have a cold. Other than that, I've been in really good health for the last few years. I take my health really seriously. I'm not sure if the doctor told you, but I used to be quite overweight. But I lost it all after a bit of a wake-up call some years back.
Hmm.
I had what you guys call a myocardial infraction. It was pretty scary, and I was quite overweight at the time and really stressed out about my job. Since then, I've made a real effort to look after myself properly.
I'm glad to hear it. So, in terms of your blurred vision, what do you think might work for you?
Well, I don't particularly like the idea of wearing glasses all the time, but touching my eyes freaks me out, so contact lenses are definitely not an option. I guess the best thing might be to just have glasses that I wear all the time, so I don't keep forgetting to put them on when I'm out somewhere and not at home. I've actually never had an eye test, so I should probably schedule one of those as a next step.
I think that sounds reasonable. Let's do some tests to check out your eyes and go from there.
You hear a senior obstetrician talking to a patient called Hilary Johnson, who has been referred by her midwife.
Hilary Johnson? Hi. Do come in and take a seat. I'm Dr. Smith, and I'm a senior obstetrician here. So, Hilary, you've been referred to us by your midwife.
Mm-hmm.
I have her notes with me here, but could you tell me in your own words why you've been referred?
Oh, yeah, no problem. I think I've been referred to you because the midwife said she found some glucose in my urine sample and was worried about diabetes. If I understand correctly, I could have diabetes during my pregnancy, but if I do, it's not likely to continue after giving birth. I've noticed that I'm craving sweets and cakes all the time at the moment, and I've just been letting myself eat whatever. So I've put on a bit of weight, and I don't think it's all just baby weight either. I've never had a problem with diabetes before, and I'm hoping it'll turn out to be something else. My aunt actually has type 2 diabetes, but she's always eaten a lot of sugar, so I think that might be a factor. She just controls hers with diet now and doesn't have to take any medication.
Oh, okay. Thanks for letting me know. I see from your notes that you're 24 weeks pregnant now. How has your pregnancy been up to now?
Oh, I have been so lucky. I got the usual sickness early on. Well, stomach pain, but not actually being sick. I think that's pretty common. And it's settled after the first trimester. I've been taking some medication because I also had pretty horrible heartburn.
Right.
And it seems to take care of the problem. And also I've started to get a bit of back pain in the last week or so. I'd say it's like a throbbing feeling, but other than that, I've been pretty fortunate. I suppose I've been gradually getting more and more tired since the start of my pregnancy. I've just put it down to the extra energy my baby needs. But it could also be because I haven't been sleeping very well. Also, sometimes the nausea stops me from making something healthy for dinner, which is annoying because I know I need to eat healthily. I take a prenatal, though, to make sure I'm getting the right nutrition.
Well, it seems like you're managing to deal with most of your symptoms well.
Yeah, this is my first pregnancy. And to be honest, I didn't have a clue what to expect. But so far, so good. It's only this glucose thing that's got me worried. I imagine it's just a one-off, but I guess it's best to get it seen to.
Certainly, and I'm pleased you're here so we can get things sorted. So we'll need to book another appointment to carry out some tests.
Okay, so when will I have to have this? Because I'm a bit busy at work at the minute.
Well, ideally as soon as possible. Can I ask what you do for a living?
I'm a high school teacher, and it's just getting to that time of year when the kids are gearing up for their examinations. So I can't afford to be taking too much time off during the day. I'm actually a little bit stressed at the moment as well. I've had to do a lot more work over the past few weeks. I think it's just that time of year. I've been a teacher for 4 years now, so I'm starting to develop ways of coping with the madness. With that in mind, if our next appointment could be at 5-ish or later, then that would be perfect.
No problem. Just make sure to let the receptionist know your preferences. When we find sugar in preliminary tests, we offer an oral glucose tolerance test, which is what we'll do when you come in next. Do you know what that involves?
Well, I asked a few of my friends about their pregnancies, and my friend Beth said that she had the same thing and told me about that test. She said that she had to come into the hospital and drink a sugary drink and then have a blood test to tell if she had diabetes. Is that right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Uh-huh.
Here's the leaflet that explains the test so that you can have a read about it when you get home. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, I don't think so. I'll go away and read this and wait and see what the test says. Well, thank you for your help today.
You're welcome. I'll see you once we have the results and we can take it from there.
Okay. See, now this is also exactly a practice for your role play card, speaking. How to start a speaking. Here you have maybe like, how to start. For example, how the professional starts here. That's how you have to start, right? You have like, I am Dr. Sakel. So immediately you start with the name, introducing yourself, and what's been going on with your vision. So what are the problems? So what are the symptoms? What are the symptoms that you have? What are the complaints you have? So as I told you in the beginning, they have the special this one, the issue given or the specialist mentioned. You hear an optometrist talking to a patient called Aiden Fitzpatrick. This one is very important. As soon as you know optometrist, you know they are going to speak about vision, right? So you start predicting in your mind. All these predictions happen very, very naturally and casually. You need not go by step, all those things. As soon as you think of blurred vision, you know, you imagine a guy with a soda glasses and staring at you and he can't see the things properly, all those things. Okay. So then, you know, all this felt this guy was fussy around the edges. So anyway, it kind of felt like the feelings and emotions always will be answers. Increasingly, you know, there's an adjective, more light, there is a scale. Glasses they sell at the pharmacy. Okay, normally, like, you know, we have different places where glasses are sold in India, but normally it is sold in pharmacy. That's why it is mentioned there. And I still notice squinting, the action of the eyes, but there's a contrast. I also noticed a pretty persistent headache. After the contact expression, usually I told you, normally the answer appears. And pretty persistent headache. So you can write a headache or a pretty persistent headache, both will be right. And that is being treated by ibuprofen. This is the sequence you have to see. As soon as there is a medicine or a issue or a condition, then next one will be the treatment part. Okay, diagnosis, treatment, diagnosis, then you have medication. Okay, so ever had any vision problems before? The background details, no, medical history and background details. So you see, I said maybe he is short-sighted. Maybe is the model verb used. Synonym used is possibly, that I will be showing you. I was suffering from sinusitis. You know, normally all these names or the conditions or the model verbs or those contrasts will be the answers. And I have a cold, suffering from symptoms of cold, it is said in the question statement. But again, one contrast here, as soon after the contrast, what happens, what comes is the answer. Wake up call is the clue given there, a myocardial infarction. So after the contrast, there is the answer. So what do you think might work for you? Next step. In the question booklet, it is given next step. So he says, I don't particularly like the idea of wearing glasses, but say there is a contrast. So the idea is changing. I don't like, but touching my eyes freaks me out. So contact lenses are definitely not an option. Negative meaning. Okay. Though I don't like wearing glasses, I don't even, 100% more I dislike contact lenses. See, there is a contrast. So what is he looking for? I guess the best thing might be to just have glasses that I wear all the time. So I go for glasses, not contact lenses. That is the answer there. And I have actually never had, that is given, clue is given in the bracket, never had one, an eye test. So must have an eye test is the answer given. Okay, I'll be giving you the paraphrasing of these things. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Father.
Yeah. See, been going on with your vision, and this is the same thing with the question. I am just trying to connect difficulty reading. That is the main symptoms, and the first notice the difficulty reading. That is the concept, you know, vision and reading difficulty. In the first part, symptoms, the concept is or focus is vision and reading difficulty. So reading difficulty is described and explained. So first answer says it was looking like fussy. The printed small letters were looking fussy. So describing how it looks. Then difficulty reading printed, see, difficult reading, all this repeatedly used. See, reading, hard time reading, and couldn't see the letters means difficult reading. Increasing more right to read at night. So again, difficulty in reading. That's being repeated. What is the main concept? As I told you, in all these subtests, you have to focus on the main focus or the concept of the paragraph or the audio or speaking or listening. Okay. And see, difficulty reading, hard time reading, couldn't see the letters, felt is so feeling. Whenever there is feeling or emotions, next will be the answer. And see, synonymous language used, hard time reading, difficult means difficult reading, couldn't see the letters. These are synonymous language, not the same words used, but different words used to express the same meaning. Okay, see, these are different things being used. I have just highlighted fussy around the edges, and the same thing, but I have highlighted. I'll show you in the columns how they have used the, see. What's been going on with your vision is the side heading, no? What's the symptoms is mentioned in what's been going on with your vision. Hard time reading the instructions on the gardening products that I had just brought. See, difficulty reading printed letters. I'll show you. Felt like everything was fussy around the edges, couldn't see the letters clearly. Had been using increasingly more light to read at midnight and pulling things closer to me to read. So what's been going on with your vision? So these are the 5 things, one after another, explained in the first portion of the audio. Okay. And as we get back to this one, I'll show you how the paraphrasing is being used. Okay. See, paraphrasing in the question and text. This is the thing that you have to practice in your listening part A. You know, there are 24 marks in the part A. If you do well in that, the listening score will be very easy for you. See, the question statement says, first noticed difficulty 2 weeks ago. What is the paraphrasing used? I didn't really notice it properly until about 2 weeks ago. Same thing expressed in different ways. That's why we call it paraphrasing. And I'll tell you, listening part A is mostly the same thing. If you are able to be competent in paraphrasing, you do it very easily. See, first notice difficulty reading 2 weeks ago. Same thing expressed in the text is, I didn't really notice it properly until about 2 weeks ago. It means difficulty reading. Okay, so reference is there. See, other one is describes his vision as fussy. And here in the text, it is said, it kind of felt like everything was fussy around the edges. Same thing mentioned in different ways. And the question statement says, has difficulty reading printed letters. And the text says, I just couldn't see the letters clearly. See how beautifully they have paraphrased. And in question, it says, needs increasingly more light to read in evenings. In the text, it says, had been using increasingly more light reading to read at night. Here it is, read in evenings, read at night. Synonymous expressions, increasingly same word is used, more light, the scale is being used. You know, here everything says needs increasingly. This is a factual statement. Here the pronoun is used, he is explaining. See, I'd been using, I just couldn't. He has difficulty reading printed letters. So here it is said in factual statements. Here it is said in first person. He is explaining. And this one here it is stated as factual statements in the questions. And found he was having to hold objects closer to see. See, the text says had been, or the audio says had been pulling things closer to me to read. Found he was having to hold objects closer to see. I'd been pulling things closer to me to read. See, here I'd been means first person. I am explaining. The patient is explaining. But in the question statement, the third person is found he was having to hold objects closer to see. The reported speech is being used in all the question statements. Okay, whereas here it is first person being used. This is what you have to understand. And as you just scan the questions for the first 30 seconds, this difference you have to make out. So when you listen, it will be very easy for you to grasp the answers. See, purchase glasses from the pharmacy. You know, see, purchase the glasses, sell at the pharmacy. Even when, still, expressions being used. synonymous expressions. Now you see that part. The next question, purchase glasses from the pharmacy. I went out and got some of those glasses they sell at the pharmacy. Purchase glasses from the pharmacy is the question statement, paraphrasing of this text in the audio, or this sentence in the audio. I went out and got some of those glasses they sell at the pharmacy. They sell at the pharmacy, I purchased. Okay. And the next one, often finds that he is squinting his eyes even when wearing glasses. That's the question statement. The text says, I still notice that I am squinting to see things. I still notice that I am squinting to see things. Often finds that he is squinting his eyes even when wearing glasses. So these are the paraphrasing. Now you see, as I said, name, contrast, adjective, and you have comparisons. Here again, ibuprofen is the name of the medicine, and a pretty fast acting is the adjective. Pretty persistent is the adjective being used. Headache is the name of the disease, but is the contrast. So these are the clues that tells you here is the answer. Paraphrasing, the next one. See, question says, when struggling to see, can also experience a pretty persistent headache. But the text audio says, I have also noticed a pretty persistent headache. It's definitely worst when I am having trouble seeing something when struggling to see. So same thing being paraphrased. You have to, that's what I said, when you practice, you have to write down these paraphrasing expressions. Write down the question statement, the bullet points in the question statement, and write down the same thing explained in different way in the audio or the script. So make a book of those things. In the beginning, you'll have to do that. After that, you know the same things being repeated, you will know exactly how to do it. And Aiden treats pain with ibuprofen and fast acting. That's the clue given in the question. And I just take a fast acting ibuprofen, and that tends to sort it out. Okay, treats, tends to sort it out is treats. So Aiden treats pain with ibuprofen. I just take a fast acting ibuprofen, and that tends to sort it out is the text. Okay, or the audio. See, the next part is this again, same thing as I told you, how to use the golden 30 seconds. This is the second extract. Okay, I'm just fast glancing over it. Who is speaking? You have to understand first of the obstetrician. To whom is he speaking to, or who is he speaking with? Hillary Johnson. Topic is, what is the topic? Diabetes. Subheadings, reason for referral, family history of diabetes, pregnancy symptoms, occupation, and next appointment. These are the subheadings in the, see, focus of the audio is this: reason or for referral, family history of diabetes, pregnancy symptoms, occupation, next appointment. You know, reason for referral. Why the person is being referred? Okay, they will be speaking about the condition there, right? The disease. Family history of diabetes, which means automatically, you know, as soon as you look at the side heading, you know, they are thinking of family history means whether somebody has diabetes in your family. Your brother, father, mother, and something of that will be the answer. Pregnancy symptoms, already we predicted it. Occupation, you know, as soon as they are speaking about what you do for your living, when they ask the person, and immediately the answer is a nurse or doctor or teacher or engineer. So definitely the answer will be particular occupation, nothing else. So from the very side headings, you can predict the answers. Next appointment, when and for what. Okay, what will happen in the next appointment? This sequence you have to keep in mind. See, diabetes structure. Reason for referral. The second extract structure is this. Reason for referral, 1, 2 reasons will be there. The family history of diabetes. Somebody has family, one or two person have the history in the family, diabetic history. And pregnancy symptoms, as we said, 1, 2, 3, 4. Occupation, I said. What will be the occupation? Normally 1. Next appointment. And for what and why. Okay. See, reason for referral. Glucose in indicates risk of diabetes. What will be glucose in what? Glucose in tea or coffee?
The urine or in the blood.
Okay, urine or blood. So you have to just listen to that, right? Describes herself. Again, I said describing something as comparing something. Describes herself as what is something for sugary fruits. Either she hates or she likes or craves, right? Sugary fruits. When you have diabetic, either you crave for it or you hate. sugary foods. Let's see what it is. One of those should be the answer. That's a prediction. Notice the extra dash, which may be unrelated to pregnancy. Extra something. Extra means notice something extra in the body. Normally, what is extra? Normally, what is extra?
Weight.
Weight. Yeah. Normally, it will be weight, right? There is, you cannot have extra length of a foot or hand or something of that sort. So normally, obesity, the weight is the thing we called extra or too much. Family history of diabetes. Her dash suffers from diabetes. Definitely a person, right? Her father, mother, sister, brother, and somebody. Pregnancy symptoms that we already seen. Morning sickness, we have already seen in the beginning. So pain in her dash. Somewhere there is pain. Dash controlled with medication. The condition is controlled with medication. That a name of a disease. Recently suffering from backache, described as dash pain. When I taught you on listening about pain, about pain, there are some adjectives being used. So some adjective you will have to see what is being described as, or they compare this as this type of pain, pricking pain or throbbing pain or whatever. Okay, has been feeling increasingly. See again, increasingly being used. Increasingly dash problems sleeping. Okay, increasing has been feeling increasingly some feeling. As I said, there is feeling means there is an answer. Concerned about diet, taking something about diet. Okay, occupation, I told secondary school teacher, feeling dash. Okay, feeling dash, increased workload. When there is increased workload, what do you feel? You feel happy or tired or exhausted or energetic? Feeling something of that sort. When you have a lot of workload, you know what you feel. That will be the answer. Next appointment will take an appointment. Dash test. They are speaking about a particular test. And means, or it should start with a vowel sound, right? And dash glucose test. Already you know what is vowel sound. Has been given so easy, so I don't want you to repeat the answers. Has been given a dash to consult. Something is given there. So a name should be there. Okay. See, this is how you scan glucose in dash, as describes as sugary foods, extra dash, her suffers. So see the words just before and after the gap. Her dash suffers, or someone suffers. Pain in her dash, in her brain or in her stomach or in her head or whatever, belly, wherever, just for some place in her body. Dash controlled with medication. Something is controlled with medication, some disease or some condition. Recently suffering from backache, described as described as pin pricking or something of that sort. We'll have to see what it is. Feeling increasingly dash. Okay, concerned about diet. So feeling. So answer. That's what it is. Take an. Notice those words before and after. An oral glucose test has been given to consult. Again, means now it will not be a vowel sound. The word will not start with a vowel sound. Okay, that's enough for now, I believe. Now you can come to gallery view. There will be some 30 to 40 screenshots, right? I didn't see how many slides were there. Just I took one extract, 6 questions. Typically 12 questions, but in detail, 6 questions. Just to tell you, all these things are very familiar to you. You know them very well. Nothing new. Mostly they have all medical texts, audios. Now we have taken only some of you, a small number, did not admit house full because we can go on discussion. Then you are very particular. When you are sure about the whole thing, you can discard some of the slides which you don't require, but make your own idea how to go about the listening. See, those out of 6 questions, 5 answers were clear for you, right? Even without reading audio, you can make out the answer. Symptoms means this will be the symptoms. No, symptoms you know, right? For example, pregnancy I did not take. Next part is pregnancy symptoms are given, which I gave in that column, no? Same symptoms are given there.
Yes.
So now,
Okay.
blurred vision, you told me the symptoms, right? What happens? A person
yes,
coming
Father.
with blurred vision. That you know, you are perfect in that. You should be perfect because you are medical professionals. When you are practicing, definitely you will know, right? Maybe,
Yes,
maybe you are not working with the optometrist. So, but other conditions, most of the other conditions like heart disease or pregnancy, labor room issues, and all those things you are familiar with. Most of the diseases, or COVID, or what you call, what are the other diseases? Diabetes.
Diabetes. No, father, party is clear.
No, further. That was clear. It was clear.
If it is clear, then you have definitely B grade. There is no issue at all, because you get 24 and then you require very small number of marks. Yeah, in B and C. Even if you,
Somewhere when we are writing like noun, we are writing like in second, more light. Sometimes like grammar, verb, noun we are writing, so plural or singular, like in this way get mistakes because we are hurry, we are listening, and we are worried that next will be we can means be back if we are not in the same path. So like this.
That's why I said, when you are competent to predict the answers from the side headings, when you are able to use the 30 seconds effectively, you know the side headings, you know what is going to be the answer. 95% you know. When they are speaking about symptoms, definitely the answers will be symptoms, right? So you have to listen only to symptoms. And definitely, you know, yeah, looking at the gap, you know, the word before and after, you will be able to predict what is the answer. And looking at what your family history of diabetes, definitely, you know, somebody's, when you're asking somebody, do you have a family history of diabetes, you will say, my dad has diabetes, or mother has, or my brother has, sister has, aunt has, somebody in your family. So, you know, you have to find out who is that person. That's all, nothing else. A lot of other things they will speak, but you need not look into those things or listen to those things, concentrate on those things. You have to just properly get into those side headings. Now, side headings are spoken out by the professional. And you know, this is exactly the role play card, what you have to do in your role play card, professionally given. There you will be the professional. You will be the playing the role of this professional. Okay.
Okay.
So plural and singular, that you should be careful. Like later you have time to check as well. And minor mistakes, they don't mind in listening. Reading they mind, but listening they don't mind. Minor spelling mistakes.
Okay.
For example, a pretty, what headache was there? Even if you don't write pretty, those other things, there are 2-3 words, no? Pretty something, persistent headache. If you just write headache, that will be considered correct. If you write a persistent headache, it will be considered correct. If you write persistent headache, it will be considered correct. If you write a pretty persistent headache, all these will be considered right. So there is no issue in that.
Okay. Yes, fine.
That's in listening, but reading, you will have to write exact thing. Then always see that don't repeat the article. For example, an oral glucose set. Don't write an oral. An is already given in the question. The question statement before the gap, an is there. So don't write an or oral. And don't write oral glucose test. Glucose test is given there. Or sometimes you will be asked to write oral glucose. Okay. Test will be given in the gap after the gap. So don't write oral glucose test as the answer. That will be considered wrong.
What about plurals, Father? If we didn't write
plurals you have to write, because otherwise the whole meaning will be wrong. No? For example, the person has pain in both the legs. If you say leg, only one leg, right? So you'll not treat the other leg. Then you will have to amputate. So singular and plural is very important. Like instead of eyes, you cannot write eye. Or instead of one eye, you can't write eyes. So whole meaning changes, right? So what happens? Yeah.
With these 30 seconds, how we predict, and we'll go through all these lines, Father?
Just 12, no, 30 seconds was not finishing. We are waiting to, like, no, you need not go everywhere. You just go to the side heading and just read before and after the gap. Okay. Then automatically, you know, in the context, when you read symptoms, you know, these are the things about symptoms. Or about the occupation, you know, this the whole question booklet will speak, portion will speak about occupation. Or family history, it will speak about family history. You need not read everything there. You can just skim and go. Just mainly you have to focus on the side heading and the words before and after the gap.
Means in listening part A, we can follow the same strategy. First method you told, Father, that's skimming and scanning. So in listening 30 seconds, can we do the same?
Yeah, actually the word scan is not an appropriate word, but we use it in a different sense. Scanning means in-depth reading, but here this word scan is being used in the skim and scan sense. Scanning means just going through. 30 seconds you will have at least 6 seconds extra after scanning, just finding out all these details. From 30 seconds, you will have 6 seconds at least extra after going through. Means,
Yes, because after note.
Yeah, as soon as the first they introduce the professional cardiologist or optometrist or gynecologist, immediately you start predicting, right? Then they will introduce what is the condition, what is the problem. Then immediately you start predicting. Okay, the person has come with pregnancy issues. So what are the pregnancy issues, So the side heading is symptoms. Then normally what are the symptoms of pregnancy. Maybe 1 or 2 will not be the answer, but they will be given in the audio. All the 6 or 7 will be given, maybe 4 or 5 will be the answers. So you listen for something. Don't listen for everything. Listen for, typically you have to listen for something. When they are speaking about symptoms, you have to listen for symptoms, nothing else. What I'm telling you, take time and scrutinize the things. Even if you don't know to make the PPTs, don't make, but scrutinize the things properly. Why I have taken the same text? I thought usually I take tomorrow's text today. Then what happens? You cannot practice. Now I want to show you that same text you have to analyze and understand the strategies. You take a new text, you will not be able to understand. No, underline it, highlight it, find out, and try to scan multiple times. Scan the question for the stem words multiple times, and see the connection. Okay, an is given there before the gap, so it is an oral glucose test. Glucose test is after. So how do you connect it? All those things. This is what called practice. You see, when you're learning driving, you can't do new things, right? There's only a couple of gear system and the whole gear system, clutch and brake and steering. Same left and right you have to turn. You can't turn anywhere else. You can't do anything special. That's how skill is being developed. You have to repeat the same thing. Swimming, you can't do every day. You can't do novel things to learn swimming, no? You have to use your legs and hands, that's all, and your body to swim. You can't use different things. You can't swim in Shirasasana. So same thing you have to repeat. The patience is the key word. Ask yourself, maybe you can also just see, if you're really interested what you can do, you can take this as the role play card. You can convert this as a role play card and speak. Make a speaking practice with your speaking partner. Okay, one will speak with as a professional, the other one will speak as a patient. Same topic. Understand what I'm saying?
Yes, Father. Even I thought the same. Yes.
Pardon?
We can practice like I was thinking the same. Means initially that we can do speaking in the same. Listening.
That's why if you have a doubt, should I introduce? Definitely, you have to introduce. Everybody in the listening introduces everyone. And introducing, it's not in Indian context, it is introducing, but other places it is not introducing. It is something like saying good morning or hello, greeting somebody. Introducing yourself is greeting somebody. I told you, I believe. For example, I meet somebody somewhere in European countries. I say, I'm Father Saleen Joseph. Hi, nice meeting you. Nothing else. You never say anything else. Then the other person will say, hi, Joseph, nice meeting you too. So if for example, he doesn't tell me anything, okay, nice meeting you, and he goes away, you can't ask him, may I know your name? That's none of your business. Normally, if he likes to reveal his name, he will tell you as a reply to your introduction. When I say I am Father Saleen Joseph, he will say, I am so and so. If he doesn't say, hi, nice meeting you, Father. If he says that and goes, I can't go behind and ask the person, could you tell me your name, or may I know your name? They might say none of your business. What's your name? May I know your name? That's the difference. Also purchasing glasses from the pharmacy. In India, you don't find the glasses normally in the pharmacy, right? They have a different shop. for glasses, specs. These are the cultural differences which you have to understand. That you will understand as you go through the text or the audios. Now I have taken all those 7 steps here, but you will understand those 7 steps exactly. No? There they said the first step is do the reading, listening in exam under exam conditions, which means you have to do all these steps of QAL method, question, scanning the question for STEM words within 30 seconds, then answer options. You have to scan options and answer options, then listen to the audio, write the answers, then refer the key, identify your mistakes, then listen again, once again the same audio, and find out whether you realize what are your mistakes, why you made the mistakes. Then you go into the script, listen to the audio, read the script in your mind, and underline, highlight the answers. So this multitasking is essential. In spite of all the competencies, if you are not able to listen and read and write simultaneously, that's what you are doing in your exam. You will fail, you will suffer there. So listen, read, and circle and underline the script. Listening, reading, and writing. Multitasking is an essential thing. As I said, maybe one text, take the one audio and listen it for 5-6 days the whole week. You can do the other audios, other listening, but then the same audio, listen at least for 5 days continuously. Whenever you are doing something or free, you already know the answers and all, then you will understand the tricks they play, how they use. See, now today's you go and scrutinize. I have not taken the second portion detail. Why? Because you have to do it according as I did the first portion. You know, from 13 to 24, same strategies are being used, described as increasingly. And same things are repeated in the second portion as well. Second extract of part A. I think we can stop.
Yeah, Father, I have one question. You told that the same video we have to listen many times. So, Father, will it work as I was doing? But I thought that it's not.
No, same audio you have to listen at least 5 days. Means all audios you did not listen one audio. For example, Monday, you have started yesterday, same audio you have to listen whenever you have free time, today, tomorrow, day after, and all that. But at the same time, you can do today's task and tomorrow's task additional. But even at least passive listening, because when you listen, you will realize more and more things, how they stress, how they respond, how they pause near the answer, all those extra tricks you will understand. We call it nuances of the language. That's very, very effective.
Okay. Okay, but only the same video we have to listen many times, na?
Yeah. But additionally, you can listen other audio videos, audios, and you can practice other text tasks, no issue. But then one you have to repeat. I always suggest listen repeatedly for a week. One audio.
Okay.
Maybe if you have a listening week, Monday's audio you can repeat with the Tuesday's audio. When means continuously as you are working or you are moving around. Passive listening also is okay. That will help you to understand the accent, all those nuances of language, stress patterns, everything. Because you are familiar with the answer and whole context. Then it will clearly come to your visualization. Okay, this is what they are saying. This is how they are going. See, as soon as they speak about some disease condition, they speak about how did they manage it, about the treatment, about the medicine. So such connections, links you will understand. And the connection between the question as well as the response, question and answer. Those connections are very important. You need not understand every word of it. You understand the things in context.
Yes, Father. Yeah, it really sounds good. I will do the same. I will listen many times. I was listening many videos differently.
Okay.
But it's good. I will listen.
That's also fine, many videos, but this is specifically for gaining competency to understand the nuances of the language. Otherwise, many videos will have different accents, different nuances. So you will not be very familiar. You will be confused. But here you will become very familiar with the things.
Exactly.
Yeah. So why
exactly, Father. Even I was listening. I was listening many videos. So one day I listened something, another day the second. So I was not familiar. Means my mind was not very familiar or was not catching. So I thought that it's not working. And sometime I was doing. So I got the idea that listening the same video will help.
Yes. We have taken specially for you without admitting all the people, we have not given that link in the main group as well, because we don't want every Dick and Harry to get in and unnecessarily waste the time. At the same time, I wanted you to give time to discuss so that at least you are able to explain one slide, whatever you like, in the main platform. That will give you confidence as well. As you give the feedback, no? Maybe somebody can post the slides in order. Then at least one slide you explain, whatever you liked or whatever you learned today. That will help others. That's fine then. Okay, it's 12 o'clock. Bye-bye. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you, Father.
Okay, thank you, Father.
Bye-bye. God bless you. God bless you. Bye-bye. Bye. If you fall in love with OET, that's the journey we have, the beautiful journey with listening today. And if you're watching it on YouTube, kindly consider subscribing to the channel and give us a thumbs up if you like our work. And please do share the video so that many others may be helped to crack OET, those who are struggling, in fact, to crack their OET.